Hello, this is Clemmy Games and welcome to the Indie Game Backlog. In this episode, we will take a look at This Strange Realm of Mine, a game which self-describes as a first-person shooter mixed with poetry and psychological horror, developed by Doomster Entertainment and released on Steam in July 2017. For disclosure, I received this game for free. This is a weird and wonderful game which does show the breadth that indie games have. In fact, it does not really fall into any of the boxes that I am used to, and rather takes ideas and concepts across genres, from first-person shooters to platformers, puzzle games, and even walking simulators. It touches upon the topic of mental health, and while its portrayal may not be the most accurate thing in the world, there are some lessons on positivity and self-worth that may be helpful to some. The story goes that your character has died and passed on, but in this case, when your mind is free of your body, it wanders to your own strange realm, and you have to face unresolved issues from your life, such as regrets, fears, and hatred, which have manifested as monstrous beings. The game itself plays out largely in first person, with your standard melee and ranged weapons such as torches, axes, and guns. There are different objectives in each level, such as to obtain a key to open a door to access another area to retrieve an item for an NPC, which will then let you complete the level. There are puzzle segments, collectathons, platforming sections, and even one where you have to steer to avoid enemies, and I foresee the game introducing more interesting ones the further I get into it. This is a linear game, with the levels progressing in a fixed order, but the game does utilize the setting of your mind to great effect, since there are all sorts of weird and improbable situations, characters, and creatures. For example, there are red men in the second area, as well as a giant dog, cats, really freaky looking simians, odd monsters, plants, and more, with each bringing both a surprise and horror, especially if the design is grotesque. In the midst of all of this is Ulrich, your spiritual guide who runs the tavern Limbo, offering respite and words of wisdom for your journey. Additionally, certain NPC characters that you encounter can be invited back to the tavern, where they will take up residence, and it is always a great feeling when you are successful in getting another NPC, although there is always the option of leaving them where they are based on dialogue choices. The poetry is the weird part of the game, which does show up everywhere, from in between levels, in levels themselves, and even from an NPC at the tavern. You could read through them and ponder upon it, or you could simply skip it, so it is a strange, semi-optional feature that may have something larger to say if taken as a whole, but skimming through it did not detract from my experience. On the topic of mental health, there is a segment which highlights how an individual has social anxiety, how they fear that everyone is always staring at them, to the extent of actually decreasing the in-game health. However, a quick conversation with an NPC who advises the character to think of people as something friendly like cats, which should make them seem harmless and no longer scary, at which point the creatures visually turn into cats. Now, this is not the most accurate representation of social anxiety, but I don't think that the developer is trying to belittle it. Instead, there are avenues that people with mental health issues can seek out, and I suppose that this is one of the ways of coping, however effective or ineffective it may be. Overall, This Strange Realm of Mine is a game which I believe warrants your attention simply because of the different things that it does. It's weird, unique, and something atypical that sits outside your conventional genre boxes, so do check it out if it does intrigue you. Anyway, that will do it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.